See, this will be fun because I haven't been interviewed. I'm used to being the person that asks other people questions, so this will be fun.
Oh, we're a mess.
It's going to be great.
Just
I love
get ready.
I'm here for it.
We don't have any bloopers for you to do. Is that what you're going to say, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just try it.
Please edit that out. I'm just going to restructure it. Whether Justin chooses to keep any of that story or how he parcels it.
As Justin said,
Is that how we're going to do it?
no, we're not going to listen to him. Well, because I'm not focusing yet, Justin.
She's not locked in.
I'm in now.
I will get more succinct, I promise, Justin.
Zoned out. I'm sorry, Justin.
You're going to hate me for that.
Don't hate me, Justin. Sorry.
Being professional, it's hard.
Welcome back. I'm Tim,
I'm Leah,
and this is the Can Oakla Chatter.
where we spotlight the people, businesses, and ideas helping our rural communities thrive.
Today we were joined by Anna Rose White, who is one of the owners of the Beehive Quilt Shop in Wellington, Kansas, a destination quilt shop that draws visitors from all over, not just locally.
Yes, not just a quilt shop, home to thousands of bolts of quilt. They have a retreat space. They have everything. And don't forget the toys. So stay tuned.
Well, thank you for being here. Could you please introduce yourself and where you live and what you do?
Yes. So I'm Anna Rose White, and I am a co-owner of Beehive Quilt Shop. That's at NB Creative Toys in Wellington, Kansas. The reason I live here is because I fell in love with my husband on a blind date. And so we were...
It was a blind date.
It was a blind date at the K-State Gala. And my boss at the time was like, what are you doing on February 15th? And I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, do you know Phil White? And I'm like, no. And she's like, well, you're going to go on a blind date with him. And she's like, I've got 2 tables. You're going to be there. You know his little brother. It'll be great. And I trust Jackie a lot. And so I showed up to the gala, and Phil was my date. And we just hit it off. Couldn't stop talking to each other. Had a wonderful time. And the day after, we went to brunch with some friends because we had a lot of mutual friends, it turns out. And he just looked at me and he said, we're going to make this work. I came down and I saw where he went to church and where he grew up. And, he took me on the proper tour of Sumner County. And we came down for church, and then he took me on a tour of Sumner County. I mean, we went to Honeywell, we went to Caldwell, we did all kinds of things. When I first came to Caldwell on this tour of Sumner County, Phil and I got out, we parked, it was a Sunday, we got out of the car and we went and walked downtown and we read all the historical signs. And I was like, this is so cool.
Yes.
And we literally walked the entire downtown. And I remember seeing, at the time there was a little stand-up kiosk that had all these like brochures and like a tour of Caldwell and these different things you could do. Mm-hmm. And I was so impressed with Caldwell. I literally wrote a postcard to the Chamber of Commerce thanking the community for being such a cool place.
Really?
I bet we still have it.
You could have it. Because I have always loved rural Kansas. Like I grew up going to lots of different small towns with my dad's job. And so I got to be in lots of cool town museums. And the fact, like when I came to Caldwell, it had such a presence. I just loved it. And so when we later got engaged and got married, we ended up living in Wellington because I telecommuted and that's where he was from. Then I kept seeing all these empty buildings in downtown Wellington as the chamber director. And I just really was like, I had this vision of like what Caldwell was like. And I loved the small town vibe of Caldwell. But I lived in Wellington, or I lived in Wellington at the time. And there's just so much opportunity in an old building. And so I wanted my parents to live here before I had kids. And so I thought the best way to dangle to have my parents move here is like, wouldn't it be nice if you moved here and then, you'd be here when the grandkids would come because, we'll, plan to have kids and mom and dad, look at all these empty buildings. Like, wouldn't it be fun, Mom? You could move here and like open up a quilt shop because she had always wanted to open up a quilt shop. When I moved here and moved to Wellington, I had to drive over 30 miles to go to a quilt shop. And I have been a quilter since I was a kid. My mom let me collect fabric. And so when I moved here and I had to drive a long ways to get a fabric shop, I wanted my parents to live here before I had kids because I wanted the idea of having both sets of grandparents around. And then it just all happened quite quickly. But when we first opened Beehive, we thought it would just be my mom and I. We thought we'd bake cookies on Tuesdays because we'd be bored. I told Mom, I bet we're going to have to hire someone else. But now it's been 8 years since we've had our quilt shop.
Wow.
And this remodeled old downtown JCPenney's building. It's been 8 years. And we have I think it's close to 20 employees when you count all the part-time people. We have 5 of us work full-time. And it's a lot different animal than we thought because there really were more people that wanted to go shopping in a quilt shop, and they had to go a long ways away to get there.
And you guys really remodeled it.
It is
Yes.
It's
beautiful.
really, really
Mhm.
beautiful.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
8 years.
Yeah, so it's been 8 years.
Congrats.
They had to take 5 layers of carpeting and flooring off the hardwood floors.
Oh my goodness.
Only 5?
I know. Like
Yeah.
thousands of nails. I helped my dad one afternoon. It took hours.
Oh
It
man.
was hours, and we got 4 foot by 8 foot done. But it is the original wood floors. They're maple.
Oh,
course.
neat.
Hmm.
So for people who haven't visited yet, how would you describe Beehive Quilt Shop? And say it again, I always think Beehive
you're good.
Toys, but
Beehive Quilt Shop and Be Creative Toys.
Be Creative Toys.
Yes.
How
And-
would you describe that to them?
So we have a 50-foot storefront, and we have 10,000 bolts of fabric. Retail therapy is a concept a lot of people are familiar with. And
my
you
favorite
know,
therapy.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
And so one of the things about Beehive is that a lot of people that come through our doors, whether it's their like first time or their 50th, they're like, this is my happy place. And that warms my heart up so much. I've had people come through the front door because they like this one. We do Facebook Lives, we do YouTube. Because I told my mom when we opened that unboxings were a thing, and it turns out it's a great thing
yes.
for a destination quilt shop because people do need to drive to our shop to get there. We do have a great core group of local customers, but we get lots of people that come from over an hour to drive to our shop on a regular basis because there's a lot of other fabric deserts out in the world, and it takes a lot of inventory to run a quilt shop. And we now ship a lot more packages. Because we ship internationally, we ship all over the place. I should keep track of all the different
Wow.
countries. And it is quite fun. Like,
is.
I love getting orders from Canada, Germany,
yeah.
France. It's so fun. We've shipped to Australia before, and we ship toys and quilts. So it's just fun. But we
is
do
neat.
ship a number of things.
I think it's funny that you said Canada first.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
oh, this is-
Australia wouldn't be the most exciting. It's Canada.
Well, because Canada happens like quite often. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
okay.
we have someone from Alberta, this week. And
Oh.
it's just fun because a lot of people, like I said, live in these fabric deserts. Like literally, they cannot get access to fabric. And fabric is one of those things like you do need to touch it and feel it, and color looks so different how things are photographed. So it's very important. So I love selling stuff online. So our community that we've made at Beehive Quilt Shop, it really is people from all over. One time I had this woman come in the front door. She's like, oh, Anna Rose, she's like, and she holds her hand over her heart, and she's just like, you have no idea how nice it is to see you.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, it's great to see you too. And then she says she's like, no, you have no idea. She's like, my mom died, and I have been spending the week cleaning out her house. And it's been really hard. And she's like, anytime I think I can't do it, I'll like just sit down and I just pull up one of your videos. And I just, I think, what fun thing does Anna Rose have?
Oh.
To talk about, because I do have this little Facebook Live, and I give the weather report, which is kind of funny because,
Yeah.
I don't know. We just started doing that. And, but we do unboxings, and we show new fabric, and we reminisce about other quilts we've had or stories and different things. And so our customers really get to know who we are. They got to watch me get pregnant with my 3rd kid. I had a woman coming up to me being like, my husband, is a retired gynecologist, and he could guess that you were so-and-so months along or whatever. It's just like, it just floors me. But we do get to know our customers. But when that woman came through the door and just almost started sobbing because she was just like so happy to be in our store and knowing that like we're able to help people through all kinds of different memories.
Do you have classes in the brothel? What is that now?
Yes.
What is the
So-
brothel now?
So it's now called the Creative Center. Anyway, we have our building, which is the old JCPenney's Gambrel store, 50-foot storefront. We buy the building right next door because they just had decided to move to Arkansas. And like, do you want to buy our building? And we're like, well, we better buy that. So we bought that. And then it became an office, mini classroom area after our shipping area started outgrowing. And then when you walk outside of Beehive Quilt Shop and just look across the street, there's the Edgar Oil building. And so we bought that so that we could have, that we could maybe have quilt retreats there. So we were going to redo the 2nd floor, which is where the brothel was. And it still has some of the original like lath and plaster, like the tiny
yeah.
rooms. It
Yes.
still has that. But anyway, we were going to redo that space to be a quilt retreat center. And we hadn't even like named it or anything, but we knew we had to put in an elevator because it was on the 2nd floor, and Wellington has more rules about where you can and can't put certain things. They call it the fire code. We could talk more on that another time.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was going to involve us having to put an elevator in. And so we just knew we were really busy at the quilt shop. We were busy teaching classes. we knew we wanted to do this quilt retreat center, but then COVID was happening and all kinds of stuff. We go on a family walk. We see a funeral home for sale that's empty. Nothing left was in it that was funeral parts and pieces. Right?
Good to know.
So it's really just a big house. It's for sale, but it was a funeral home. And we decided to buy that because we weren't going to have to put in an elevator. And it was just this gorgeous building. It already had these communal spaces. It already had the living quarters on the second floor where the family lived. It had been a mansion, beautiful woodwork,
And already
big
had an
front
elevator?
porch. Doesn't have an elevator, but there could be first floor bedrooms.
Ah, gotcha.
And so we knew, because a lot of quilters, they get knee replacements. They retire, and, they got to keep up with things.
Yep.
Yes.
And we didn't want anybody that couldn't, that had a knee replacement to not get to be in a quilt retreat, space. So the house was just going to work out perfectly. And so my parents went ahead and bought the old funeral home, and we had some remodeling to do to it and opened it up. And now it can have groups of 17 people.
Wow.
And there's 17 twin beds. There's rooms on the first floor and the second floor. There's now 2 full kitchens, and it gets rented out just quite frequently. And so if you're not familiar with quilting, there's a lot of people who go on quilt retreats, because quilting to a lot of people, it's not just your hobby. Like, it is your lifestyle. You're a quilter. Like, you think about everything as, how long do I have because I need to get into my quilt room? People go on vacation to go quilting, and they're called quilt retreats. And so sometimes they're a family reunion because your mom, your sister, your grandma, whoever taught you how to quilt, and it's just natural to get back with those people. And so it becomes this annual pilgrimage that people have. And so whether it's their friend group or a family group, they go to quilt retreats. And it's basically like this overnight extended class thing that you just get to do whatever you want.
It really looks
for
like
5
the
days.
funnest
It's
slumber
amazing.
party ever.
It is. It's an epic slumber party. And so there for a while, we were able to have classes there and rent it out. But then there's so many people renting it out for retreats.
Yep.
We don't have as much space for our classes that we would like to have. So then now we are back to the brothel Edgar Oil building, and we are remodeling that to be our classroom showroom, because we sell sewing and embroidery machines and sewing furniture and cabinets.
I've never thought about how quilting went beyond kind of a solo hobby. So how has that always been that way, or how does that world become or how does that become such a community?
People really want to have quilt retreats, and even if people don't have a quilt retreat group that they're used to going to, like, they aspire to go to a quilt retreat. Like, they're looking for a tribe. There's a really great book called Tribe, or The Tribe, and it's all about how, like, humans, we desire to be around other people. Like, that is the thing. And you need to belong to something. And so, like, when you're in school, like, you belong to your elementary school. Like, some people go to church. You belong to your church. You belong to where you went to college. You belong to where you work. And this is a big part of, like, people's identity. And so for our customers, like, they don't just come to Beehive because they need fabric. Like, they belong to us, like, our community. And they really feel that I don't know, like, we're together. Like, we are a creative community. And I love that. And so we get to celebrate lots of quilters that come in. Yeah. We get to do show and tell. They bring us their quilts. We show them our things. It's a lot of fun to get to celebrate creativity all the time. Like, I love my job. It's just so fun to get to see people and help inspire people to be creative. But that's why we've had to buy all these different buildings, is because we need more space, not just for more bolts of fabric, but we need the small classrooms for small groups, because not everybody is going to feel comfortable if you came into a class that had, like 30 people. That would be weird. We love having a small classroom where you can be in with a group that's as small as 4. It could have as many as 20. We've had a couple classes with 30 people with big speakers, but it's just really important to keep learning. I think everyone's a prospective quilter. Tim, have you ever thought about quilting before?
I have.
You have?
I have. I thought it'd be very neat.
Because of your t-shirt quilt?
No.
Oh, t-shirt quilts are gateway. That's a gateway. That's a gateway project.
I don't have it anymore anyway.
What?
Yeah.
Where is it? I thought it was folded.
Very sad. I don't want.
Okay.
You asked the question, so you're gonna get the answer. Sophie got it cremated with it. I cremated her with
that,
it.
didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I lost my husky this year, and I
was there.
She was there. I've had that t-shirt quilt since I've had her, when I had her as a puppy, and she slept with it all the time. You're fine.
That's beautiful.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that a
so
mark
I cremated
against our friendship?
No,
I'm sorry.
no. And I got it cremated with it. So
That's really special though.
Yeah,
But
my mom and dad got it made for me.
Truly.
Yeah.
I say t-shirt quilts, you know, as like quilters, like sometimes there's a joke like, yes, I'm a quilter, but no, I won't hem your pants. Like quilters are sassy people.
Yeah.
But there's also like a lot of people out there, like that's what they want is they want a t-shirt quilt. And so like for like quilters, you know, those of us that like make lots of quilts and we love quilting, we have like a list of like 55 quilts we want to make. And someone asks you to make a t-shirt quilt, it's really easy to be like, I don't want to make your t-shirt quilt. But when you go through the aspect of like making a t-shirt quilt with somebody or for someone, it's a gateway quilt because you get this feeling of like getting to slice through fabric and sewing it together and like how empowering it is to stitch material together.
Yes.
Like the hum of a sewing machine, it is a good noise. Like I love the hum of a sewing machine. I love it.
What I think I love most about the whole thing in general is the sentimental. It's all that your whole community. The purpose of a quilt is you're putting love, and it's all sentimental. It is the whole purpose.
Everything has to mean something because either it's purely creative or if it's like that t-shirt quilt, nobody just has a quilt made on a whim.
No, you're thinking
unless you have that list. But I'm sure there are reasons for each one. Like I know somebody who made a t-shirt quilt out of all of their work shirts of their dad who retired and has since passed away. And you just don't do that unless you feel so strongly about it.
When people walk through our door, you have no idea what they've left behind. So when I've had people that have like, they don't just come into Beehive because they need fabric. Like they need like a hug. They need to touch some material. They need to tell someone their story. We get a lot of quilters that are in different parts of their life where like, their friend just had a stroke. Their friend just got diagnosed with cancer. Their husband just passed away. Their sister just got diagnosed with something. Their, best friend at work just suddenly had to retire and go take care of their mom and move to another state. Like there's a lot of loss and grief that happens in everybody's life. And I don't think I and my mom, we did not realize that when we opened up our store, like how much counseling and human emotion and like, we just had no idea how big that would feel.
Well, I think you invite that too because people carry that around with them everywhere. But if you have the right space and the right like demeanor or the attitude or the personality where you're open to receive that, people unconsciously sense that and feel that comfort or that ability to just unload that on you. Because they know you're going to listen.
And you're already prepared. Like people going in there, like you already know, like you need to be that inviting, that warm. So, I mean, people.
And you want to be.
Probably flock to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want, that's the vibe we're going for. Like that's our vibe is like creativity, safety, love, and just knowing that thank you. Like that means so much to me. But I think that's what we wanted to build, but didn't know we would build that we are building.
Because it was quilts and toys first.
Yeah, because Legos are the best, and so is fabric.
Yeah.
And that's just been awesome about our community, and that's why it keeps getting bigger. And because we do share that on our platform, and like I'm not just there. Like we have a social media, we have Facebook Live, and we have a YouTube. We do a little bit with Instagram. I vow to do more with Instagram in 2026. But we just started doing like showing people what we had in the store. And then we started getting lots of feedback from our customers that like, they loved getting to see like my daughter at the time who was like itty bitty and, they loved getting to watch our store grow up and they've been following us for years. And we are a destination quilt shop because we are in rural Kansas. I mean, we are not in a big city. I'm not in Dallas. We are in Wellington, Kansas. And we are very grateful that we're just right off the turnpike. But people have to go out of their way to come here. They are not just going to drive by and be like, oh, yeah, I wanted to stop there. It's an intentional trip to come to Beehive. And I love it because usually people like come with friends. So that's like a group shopping event. Like every once in a while, like quilting's a solo sport. Like you just need to be by yourself at the quilt shop. Like that's a thing. But there's a lot of people that do group shopping because it's fun. And, people have a tendency that they want feedback. And so I love that the quilt shop and quilting is not a solo sport. It can be, but that's why we needed to make more spaces.
How does Beehive connect to the larger quilting community?
So quilting is not just for the United States, right?
Right.
And so the quilting is for everybody, but a lot of other countries don't have Beehive Quilt Shop in their back door. And so they have to buy online. They're just forced to. So they do hunt around online, and every once in a while they're going to make a connection. And so like I do think that's why we have our YouTube channel and Facebook, because not just successful quilt shops, but like we are open doors for other people that want to come, that if they like the projects that we're showing them or the little story they tell, maybe that they should buy their fabric from us. Or maybe we're just bringing them joy into their community, which is also fine. Like they don't have to buy something from us to watch our content. Mm-hmm. You know, we really do want just people to be inspired. One of the most inspiring things that we ever have done is that we were able to host Kay Fassett and Brandon Mabley from London came to our shop. And so that didn't just happen by chance. We went to Quilt Market and we went to a trade show, and they said, we love to travel the world. If you would like us to come to your quilt shop, let your sales rep know. You know, that could have just been anyone commercial, but Mom and I just looked at each other and we're like, should we ask Sandy? And we did. We went over and asked Sandy, like, hey, how could we get Kay and Brandon to come to Wellington?
Are these the top quilters in the world? Is that who these people are?
They are to me.
Like
they are. They are.
Celebrity.
They have a Facebook group that has over 100,000 people in it for quilting. Like that's a big deal. And so, but they are international designers. Like Kaif has museum exhibits around the world that are dedicated to his paintings and fabric and his color schemes. Like Kay Fassett is a huge deal. So we go ask Sandy, and Sandy's like, I don't know. No one in her sales region, which is the entire Midwest, had asked.
Really?
And so she's like, I'll have to go ask my boss. And so she had to ask her boss. And she's like, okay, well, we'll put them on the list. Like it usually takes a couple of years for them to come. And so Mom and I are just like, well, we at least had asked, you know, and then we moved on about our day. Before we know it, 2 months later, we get a phone call that we were selected to be the grand finale last stop on their tour for that next year. We didn't have to wait 2 years. They came. And so we got to pick them up from the airport. They hosted this Power of Color lecture. We rented the Wellington High School out. We had hundreds of people come listen to this Power of Color lecture. And it was powerful. Like he had all these slides. He talked about his design process, the reason why he creates, like why he pulls certain colors together. And we just had hundreds of people there just listening and hanging on every word of Kaif that he said. And because we were hosting him, we got to go listen to his lectures and his workshop. And I was just very inspired by his presence there.
Was that a milestone for you? Was that, like, did you put that in your planner as like,
this is it.
This is a real success. I'm putting this in here forever.
Yes. It just became this thing of like, I can't believe this is happening to us. And then it's like, I can't believe, how are we going to make anything better than this? How is anything going to be better than Kaif and Brandon coming? And so they came and it was amazing. And then at the end of this trip, Brandon's like, you know, he's like, you really should come to our next retreat that's going to be in Arizona. They're just amazingly creative people. I had wanted to give them these two powerful books that I just love. One is called Your Brain on Art, and one is called Big Magic. And Big Magic is written by Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. And so she wrote this book like 10 or 12 years ago called Big Magic. If you don't have it, you should find it. It's free on Libby, the library app. You can listen to the audiobook and the real book, get a real copy. Anyway, my goal in life is for more people to read Big Magic and Your Brain on Art. And Your Brain on Art's all science nerd, super sciencey. Like, why do you feel better when you quilt? Why do you feel better when you make stuff with your hands? Like, what happens to you when you listen to music? It talks about all the neurons and Alzheimer's and all the good stuff. And Big Magic is all about how you have to listen for what you should be doing next. And looking for like what patterns are out there. And if I hadn't listened to Brandon and gone on this quilt retreat, and if Mom and I hadn't listened to them at that event and being like, we should ask them. They told us to ask, we should ask. But if you just suppress that, you're never going to have all these cool opportunities.
Right.
And so I've just been trying to lean in more to that. And I think that that's important. So I was able to record them as a podcast when they came. But now I'm launching the podcast, Creative Sparks, because I do think that there's more people that are out there that do need to be listening to the cool stories that we have in Caldwell and Wellington and Sumner County.
Because we really do have a lot of creativity. We're in the first part of 2026. What do you have coming up that our listeners should know about?
Well, we have lots of fun. This year, we're doing Tuesday Treasures and our Thursday Facebook Live. So Tuesday Treasures, we are reminiscing with our stash of projects at Beehive Quilt Shop. And Tuesday Treasures, like we're going all out, like mermaid theme. Like I have a treasure box.
Oh,
so
cute.
People should watch our Tuesday Treasures. It's going to be fun. They can watch us on Facebook. We won't have all of them on YouTube because sometimes our YouTube is more about like tutorials or fun other things. But the Tuesday treasures are good. It's just going to be lots of fun. So tune in on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. And then our Thursday we always have Facebook Lives at 9 a.m. And so that's when we give the weather report. What is the newest fabric trends that week? What classes are coming up? So it's really easy to just like pop in and get a taste of like what's happening just from our Thursday Facebook Lives, because we always go over what classes are open, what retreats are coming up, and you can just walk into Beehive because we're open 6 days a week. So
and 7 days of spring, you have to mention that.
And yes, 7 days of spring. So in April 2026, we have the 7 days of spring. It's basically 7 days of Facebook Lives, but they're like very nicely curated shopping spree is really what it is. And so each day we have a theme, and there's a sign up registration page on our homepage of the website where they can get more information on that. And but that really, the 7 days of spring really prepares you for the 12 days of Christmas. And so that is starting December 1st, goes through the 12th. And it is an epic event. We have over 300 people. Maybe this next year we'll get up to 400 that participate from across the world.
Wow.
I mean, because a couple of people from Canada participate in it. But I mean, mainly there's a lot of people from the United States that do the 12 days of Christmas. And it's really fun because we show all these different ideas, and then we do the sentimental things. We have toys and fabric. So it's like everything that we are is you can find out in the 12 days of Christmas.
Because really you have every kind of person covered in your store. If they are not a quilter, they might like to be introduced to that. But if not, they can go over to the toy store, which could also be dubbed a hobby store.
Yes.
Because there's toys for kids, there's unique toys, and then any kind of hobby you could have.
Yes.
As an adult too.
I like to say that we specialize in ages 0 to 107 because,
yes.
and it's because we do have lots of really cool baby toys, because there are a lot of times, people do when they have a baby, they need a quilt, grandma has to make a quilt, aunt has to make a quilt. Anybody needs a quilt, but we have lots of great baby toys. But Bananagrams is our family's very favorite toy or game other than Lego. And Bananagrams is for ages 7 to 107. So that is the age range we specialize in, and everyone should own Bananagrams.
Well, maybe we'll have to go get it.
Even if you're dyslexic. I'm dyslexic, and I love Bananagrams.
Oh, yeah?
It's okay. You can spell.
I've never heard of
it. Do you like Wordle?
I think I would.
You think you would like
words.
Wordle? So if you like Wordle, you like words, you like, that if you ever looked through the dictionary and had joy out of looking at what a word meant,
yes, actually.
Yes.
No.
Well, there is a special joy in looking at a dictionary. Like, it's a thing. I don't know the name, but you would like Bananagrams.
Well, thank you so much for being on. We're going to have you back sometime this year. So stay tuned for that. We're scheduling it today.
Sounds good.
But we'll be up to see you soon.
Pre-write notes. Thank you. Yes, come to Beehive.
Yeah, we will. I want to. So
take a class. Would love to teach.